Yay, I'm so excited to see everyone.
Joanna, that was like such a Joanna podcast. And I mean that as a compliment. Like I was like I resisted the whole thing. Like
Oh, well,
Katie knows exactly what I mean.
oh, well, it's gonna be a good call. Maybe that's why I love her so much. Like, I just love Valerie Burton. Like, she's my favorite. So a lot of what we're gonna go through today is like from this book. If you have, so it's her Successful Women. Oh, thanks, Emily. Successful Women Think Differently. It is one of my top favorite books I've read. And I read like, I don't even know how many books in the last however many years I've been doing this, 8 years. Just really, really good. And so I'm excited to just go through a few of her coaching questions. And what I love about her book too is like every chapter, so it's 9 habits to make you happier, healthier, more resilient. But every chapter she has like coaching questions you can take yourself through. And so it's really helpful to be just reflective of like, which is really hard for me because I don't know if it's my Enneagram 3, but it's hard for me. If anyone can relate, not Enneagram 3, I'm Enneagram 2, but I have a strong 3 ring. It's hard for me to like sit still and just like think and like reflect. And like, I don't know, it just sounds like a waste of time. So sort of, it's really painful for me to do. And so I avoid it. And so I really am liking this book because it's like forcing me to do that. But anyway, if you have not got the book, get the book. But I know as women, we can be like super hard on ourselves. And she even talks all about that. And you've heard her speak at convention and in her podcast and stuff. But like women are just more prone to being really hard on themselves, like having guilt. And she has like statistics about how guys don't feel guilty at all. I'm like, man, that would be so nice. But we just are prone to be more hard on ourselves. But even achieving the jewel rank, which we are all at, like the tippy top percentage of the company, like we've done that. Like that's a huge deal. We're all very highly successful women. And yet I feel like we still struggle with being hard on ourselves, even though we've had this type of success. And I think too, because we aren't where we want to be yet, maybe, and maybe you're where you want to be in your business, but I'm not. If you are, raise your hand. You're amazing. You're amazing anyway. But I think like, some of us have lost rank, or we want to be like 4-star diamond yesterday. And so we can be hard on ourselves because we're not where we want to be yet. I haven't re-ranked diamond since I hit diamond. So fun fact about me, it's actually not fun, but I remember not re-ranking emerald, and it was so hard. Then I like every month pushing for emerald and like 1,250 points, 1,326 points, and like so close yet so far away. And now I hit emerald points by like the 15th of every month. And what felt like impossible is just now my normal. And so I'm excited about today's call because it's gonna be what we're focusing on and reflecting on, like what we are doing right, what we've done right to help us get to that next step. Yeah, Brianna, it's gonna happen. Like, I know it's not fun in the like middle of it, but it gets way more fun, I promise. Okay, so I want to read this section to you really quickly because it was just really, really good. But she says, stop focusing on what's wrong and start building on what's right. It is easy to focus on what's wrong with you or others and setting your mind to try to fix it. Many women are wired for finding flaws. Our culture encourages it, in fact. As women, we are bombarded with messages about fixing what's wrong with us, whether it's our body shape or hair, skin, mothering skills, housekeeping habits. You get the picture. If you're not careful, your inner dialogue can begin to sound like the television and magazines that are so good at letting you know what's wrong with you. I want you to be intentional about making a shift from weakness-based personal improvement to strength-based personal improvement. This is a key to success that is not only empowering, but makes your journey to victory easier and also more fun. So much of self-help, coaching, and psychology has been about helping people figure out and fix what's wrong with them so that they can finally be more successful. But both scripture and research shows that when you focus on building on your innate strengths rather than fixing your weaknesses, success flows more easily and authentically. Believe it or not, there's power in being imperfect in your identity and being imperfect if you identify and use your unique strengths to overcome your so-called weaknesses. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to go through is that first coaching question. I don't know if you had a chance to like take some time, like I talked about, and reflect, then awesome. Because I'm hoping everyone will share, or a few people will share. But the first coaching question that I shared with everyone prior to the call is think back to a time when you were at your best and reached a particularly meaningful goal. How did you do it? What did you learn about yourself? So does anyone want to share what they wrote out? Or whatever comes to mind. You didn't have to write out before the call.
I will. So mine, one of the things that came to mind was like when we went Emerald. And it's like, it's such a bittersweet thing for me now because I'm not re-ranking Emerald and haven't for a year. So I'm like, I like to put myself back in that time because it was so fun. But it was like, for me, like, I felt like we were at our best because it wasn't about me. Like, and that is what is so different than the feeling I have now. Because now it's like, I feel like I have to go do all the work. I have to do this. I have to do this. It's all in like, I need to recruit more business builders. I need to do this, you know, and in that time when we were at our best, it was like nothing about me. Like I didn't even know if I had hit Emerald or not at the end of the night, you know, but it was so like powerful because it was about everybody else. And like, that's how I want it to be again, you know, like cause obviously if everybody else is hitting their goals and things like that, then we will be too. So it just like, it's really powerful to see like, that's the shift that needs to happen. Like, I have to go back to it being about other people and not about me, you know? So yeah.
So good. I love that. And like, I like how she writes, like, how did you do it? Like, was that helpful? I don't know. That was super encouraging for me and fun actually to go through and look through like because I wrote down diamond, like going diamond was my meaningful goal. But like looking back to the team page and like looking back through like what we were doing, like in 90 days leading up to that, of course. So like January, February, because we ranked in March, December, January, February, like what were we doing? Like things we were focused on. So it was really cool. I got so many good ideas of like things I'm gonna start like redoing or like maybe like put a different spin on it. And so I don't know if you found that, Katie, or if that was kind of fun for you to look through and remember or be helpful to like something that you can like re-implement. Who else wants to? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
The one that came to mind was Silver Stars because I believe to my core that silver is the lifeblood of energy in our business. And when we earned Silver Stars, I think I went and counted. I think we had 11, it was either 11 or 13 silvers as a Ruby team. And so when I look at that and how much energy that creates, and like, so when now as a diamond, I look and I'm like, okay, if we had like, you know, for every ruby leg on our team, like if we had 10 to 15 new silvers, like I know the growth that would happen. And so I when you asked that question, my immediate thought was, okay, we were talking about power of three every week. We were taking bits and pieces of the duplication system, send, share, invite, add, tag, message, little things like that. And we were talking about them all the time. We were having every week on our team page, conversation flow, message ideas. It was all very much so the little tiny steps and how to do them, breaking it down, simple, simple, simple. Recognition, ton of it for creating silvers and adding three. And so in my head, I was like, you know what, that's what needs to happen. We got too big for our britches. Now we need to go back to that.
That was super fun. And like around 90 days before that, I remember when we first launched our 100-person reach out. And I know that was the catalyst for like huge growth because that's when like we all ranked Ruby. And so anyway, yeah, that was.
Yes. And we were talking about it too. Like all of us were talking about the fact that we were going to earn Silver Stars. And it hit me the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I could just do it on my reentry. So now that's my goal, is to hit it on my reentry because we can. And so anyway, yes, it got me really excited. So thank you, Joanna.
Awesome.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like I'm always having shifts in my business, and I feel like at the root of every shift, positive shift, is when I stop looking around. Like when we did earn silver stars, I earned it the same month as Jordan, and Joanna earned it the month after us. But I remember the 100-person reach out, seeing Joanna's team and Jordan's teams all doing things, and nobody on my team was. And so I had that defeat of, I'm gonna have to get myself to diamond, by myself. Nobody wants to do this with me. And then like another shift was after I went emerald. I didn't re-rank emerald for like 8 months. And I was so into that imposter syndrome and so focused inward that every positive shift happened pretty immediate after I stopped being in that victim mindset and comparison mindset and started enjoying what I was doing and taking ownership over my business.
I was going to share similar to that, Emily, actually. Just when I think back of when we went emerald, and then even the couple months after, when we were still maintaining and we had like the highest points we ever had, and people were developing silvers and like everybody was excited, it makes me think of exactly that. Like the months leading up to it, I feel like I finally got to a place, which is exciting to say because I feel like I'm here right now again. It's like where I get to this place where I just feel like sort of at peace with like, it's okay. I don't have to feel like I need to push for this to happen every single month. And I can be okay with like, not saying that I'm just giving up, but I'm okay with the fact that I know we're not re-ranking this month. And I know we probably won't re-rank next month either. You know what I mean? Like it's okay because we're doing the actions and I can see the wheels moving on my team because we're focused on the right things. And so I think that was a huge piece of like letting go of some pressure and being able to find the joy. So like even last night, for example, I was on a 3-way call. I helped another level 2, like sign somebody up that's going silver. And it's like, this is fun stuff. And this feels really exciting, even though I know it's like a very small piece of what's going to get us there. Like we need a lot more of that happening for it to happen. I just think that focus of being able to like, this is fun and I can do this. And just not feeling the pressure of having to force something every single month, because I know what we've been doing will get us there. And that's exactly when we went emerald. I remember it was the new year and I went into January and February just knowing like, it's okay. We're hanging out around 1,000 points. And I know at some point we're going to grow by 500 just because, and we did, which was crazy. But yeah, I think that's a huge piece in just like keeping your blinders on and just focusing on exactly what you need to do.
So good. I'm so excited for you, Marissa. But she says right exactly what you're saying in her book. She says when we focus on the positive, we see more options and we're more likely to get creative. Because we're in a fun headspace of like yesterday, I was going through my team page and looking at things. I was like, okay, this is like, we had so much fun. I mean, we still have fun, but like, it's fun to look back at what you've achieved and what you've done rather than just constantly trying to fix what's wrong. Because like, that's just not fun. Who else wants to share? So the question was, think back to a time when you were at your best and reached a particularly meaningful goal. How did you do it? What did you learn about yourself?
Hey, I'll pipe in. So September of 2017 was the month that we went diamond. And that was my first rank that I included my team. I kept it just secretive, like if I was pushing for a goal or whatever, I kept it a secret. I think because, well, I know I was afraid of people finding out that I didn't hit a goal if I didn't hit it, you know what I mean? And so that was to me a signal of growth in myself, that I was willing, because I felt like there was a few people that would kind of be like inwardly excited if I didn't hit the goal. And so I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, why would I let what they think determine whatever? I mean, I think that our team, even in the not hitting the goal, sees value. I mean, they learn from our response or how we recover after, you know, not hitting the goal that we set for ourselves. So that was my first collaborative rank up. I gathered as many people as I could that wanted to rank up with me. I knew it would be a push and that I probably wouldn't hold diamond after we did it. And so, but I wanted the title. And so I was willing to push, you know, I knew that we would organically hit it probably within 6 months, but I wanted the title. So I found anyone and everyone that wanted to. I felt like it was a good season. It was like the right month to do it. So I had those intuition things going also. And so, yeah, we did like a team call at the top of the month. And then I did like blitzy, like short little incentives throughout the month. We tried to get as many people commission qualified. So like breaking the month down into like first 10 days, middle 10 days, last 10 days. And so I think just the intentionality behind prepping for that rank up. And like, not every month is a rank up month, obviously, but I think like, what if we approached every month with that amount of intention, even if it was just to hit a point goal or to have point growth? And so I learned from this last July, this past like 3 months ago, pushing for Emerald on my reentry and did not hit it. But we ended up a lot closer, like close to 1,000 Point Club, which I knew it was going to be a big push and like a miracle if we actually hit it. But I'm like, hey, if these girls go Ruby, and then, you know, if I'm able to get enough people commission qualified, like it could work, like the three of us, 500, 500, 500. But we fell short and that's fine. But I'm like, well, I want to try because it was my last month to qualify for Star Diamond, obviously, right? And so that was my only other chance of having 4 stars. Yeah, whatever it was. So I know that we will hit it, but I think the thing to remember is including our teams on rank ups and doing what we once did. I think sometimes in high momentum, we can get tired. And so we stop doing some of the things that we do in high momentum periods. And we're just like, take a breather, take a break. But then that slows momentum down. So I don't have a good answer necessarily, except to look back. And I know the jewels on our team, we were kind of evaluating like, what were we doing in 2020? Because that was like our highest pay, highest points, all the things. That was our best year yet. And so what were we doing? And Amy Booker mentioned like we were doing Tuesday, Thursday calls, opportunity calls. Tuesdays was about product and health. Thursdays was about the business. So it's simplified systems. Anyway, everybody just had to funnel people into Tuesday calls, funnel people into Thursday calls. So we have gotten back to that to see if we can like, you know, revamp some momentum that we had back in 2020. So
I love that. And it's so true about including your team in your goals. And just even, I think it was last month that it was the last day of the month. And we were like 16 people away from hitting 100 new ads. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're 16. I put it in my team chat, like we're 16 away from hitting 100 new ads. Do you think we can do it? And then like, as people added people, I like counted down and like people were invested into it. And like one girl was like, oh my goodness, did we hit it? Like it was close to the end of the night and we like blew way past it. So that was fun. But like, even that reminded me like, okay, that is a big deal. Like I love that. Like people love coming together like for like a goal. And so I love that you shared that, Megan. And what was interesting to me when I hit diamond, well, like you said too, I had like a big, like the next month. So if I hit diamond in March, I was invited to that diamond thing in Dallas in April that they did, where they did like the new comp thing. I wanted to go to that so badly, so badly. And like, that was a big like driving thing for me. And I think, and like good reminder of like, to make sure we have like a really strong why. And even if it doesn't have to be some like spiritual why, I don't think, because that wasn't like, I just really wanted to be with all the diamonds in Dallas and it motivated me. Because we grew by like almost 1,300 points, I think, in 1 month. It was crazy. But, interesting too, like looking back at like my points of like, it was just a lot of people doing like a little bit, mostly. Like, yes, I had like a couple strong leaders, but like, it wasn't like huge points all around. And so it was just really encouraging to know that like I have some people who have more points now who didn't then. And yes, we've gone back, but like, I think it's just really encouraging just to look back and see like the stats and the numbers and all of that. So, okay, the next question, or I mean, unless someone else wants to share, I feel like we could just stay on this one because it's so good. But does someone else want to share before we go on to the next question, what they wrote down? Something that I wrote down too that helped me get there was I remembered every order counts. Seems like a small thing, but Jordan told that to me, and I always remember it and tell it to people. But it's true because I signed up someone who went Fast Start Gold, and I think I would have been like 5 points maybe short of diamond if I had not done that. Like, cause anyway, it's like every order really does count. Like, you just never know. But because she signed up and then she went Fast Start Gold, and like, it just all matters. And so not downplaying just that one order, that one person that you help, and like, go to the next one. Every order counts. Anyway. Okay, the next one was consider that meaningful goal you described in the first question. What enabled you to be at your best? Who are the people, circumstances, and other key factors surrounding your success? Anyone want to share? Yeah, comments.
I will, but I want someone else to share first.
What was the question again?
Consider that meaningful goal you described in the last question. What enabled you to be at your best? Who were the people, circumstances, and other key factors surrounding your success? Which I feel like we kind of shared a little on already.
I think it was the expectation and the intention. I think we sometimes downplay or don't realize how when we actually decide or set the goal, and then that like raises the bar in with everything that we're doing, and you couple that with excitement, passion, intention. Like, it's not just that we're trying, like, we're intending, we're like, come hell or high water, like whatever it takes, we are doing it, right? And so I think that mindset is huge, and it clicks into place when we actually like really set the goal, not just kind of float into the next month like, well, whatever happens, and we have like this reactive approach to our business rather than like an intentionality, responsive, proactive approach to our businesses. I think, Jordan, you said something last week that was super, or maybe I just remember from last week, something about management mode. Do you guys remember that quote? It was like, something without passion is just management. What was that quote? Does anyone remember? It was so good.
Yeah, I said it. I will go and look because I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me find it.
And I think
I want to add. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think at this stage of where we're at in our businesses, like, we can easily morph into management, because it can, I mean, that in and of itself can take all of our plexus time versus having that, kind of forefront visionary, kind of staying one step ahead of management mode.
Yeah, and I think in the point that I talked about last time, I think part of that piece that came before we did rank, and kind of what I'm feeling now, is exactly that, Megan. Like, I had said, okay, we're going into the new year, March is the month, and it was just like there was just no turning back. Like, that was the decision. And so now it's like I'm okay with, I feel the same way, like I'm okay with like these next couple months not happening, because I do have a date in mind, and like I'm just sticking to that, and that's the vision, I guess. So the intention of everything that's happening now still serves a purpose, even if it's not happening now.
I think the word intention is better than what I was going to say, Megan, but I have to feel yourself seriously. Like, when is the last time you actually set a goal and did not give yourself a backdoor? I mean, I think it's been a minute for me, to be honest, that I was like, if it happens, that's fine, but if not, it's okay. Or I actually set a goal for how many level 1s I had ordering that month, and like did the work to go make sure that happened, because it's so easy as our points get so much bigger to like feel like those little efforts aren't important. But like Joanna, it really, every point does matter. And honestly, the discipline of setting those little goals and hitting them is more important at this stage than the actual hitting of the goal itself. And so, when is the last time in those times, I was setting goals and I did not let them go unmet. I did not. I would stay awake to make sure that they happened. If I had a goal to have 3 silvers, I did the work. Like, and so I need to get back to that. It's a discipline and I can't make excuses for whiny kids. Like, go get your crap done, Jordan.
I think that that's the power of sharing with your team your goals too, because then that keeps you like accountable of like, well, you're their leader. You can't just like have a bad day and then decide like, oh, we'll go for it next month. Like, you have to be that example so that even at the end of the month, because you might not hit your goal. I think we pushed for Emerald like 3 times before we actually hit it, but like, at least they saw you do the things and do everything you could and show up, so that when they have those months where they don't hit their goal, like, you can be an encouragement for them. And so either way, whether you hit it or don't, like, you giving it your all, I think is the key. But yeah.
Well, and I think that too is that like builds trust and respect, because how many leaders have we had on our teams that have been totally silent and like not doing anything or showing up to their business, and then all of a sudden they pop into their threads and they're like, team, we're going Ruby. Like, people are going to support you when they know that you have been supporting them and that you're in the muck and mire and you're learning and you're growing, versus you not showing up and then using them. I mean, honestly, I feel like that's what a lot of people could feel like, is these people haven't been showing up and now all of a sudden they're wanting to make this paycheck and wanting my help. So I think that that's a super important thing of a leader, is you have to show up. You have to be true to your word, more than when you were silver, or like Jordan was saying, when you were growing and hitting those goals. I think that is so important, because we do have such large teams now.
Jordan,
Yeah.
everything that you just said, Emily, and what you said, Jordan, has like resonated with me. I feel like I've had this conversation several times the past couple of months. Like, early on in my business, I had so much control and so much direct impact over my points each month. And like going gold, senior ruby, or gold, ruby, senior ruby was fun, because I knew exactly how many orders I was bringing on, exactly whose subs were on. Like, I knew all the things. And I feel like it's easy to get stuck in like analysis paralysis now with so many people in our back office. And I'm a control freak. So knowing that like 90% of the points that I'm getting each month are out of my control, I just feel like a deer in headlights sometimes when I'm looking at my back office, because I don't even really know where to start. But getting back into that mindset of like having level 1 goals, I think is so important. And knowing like, okay, at the end of the day, I can continue to go silver each month, like at the bare minimum. I can continue to help my level 1 share, like just getting back to the basics. And we kind of chatted about this a long time ago. Like, I think early on we're told to like share like you're a diamond. Like, how would you show up in your business today if you were a diamond? But now I actually feel like it's quite the contrary. Like, once you go jewel, it's actually like getting back into the mindset of, what would I be doing today if I just started? Like, how would I feel internally? How would I be showing up on social media? How would I be reaching out to my new customers and new prospects? Like, getting back into that new energy mindset, I think, and just having like the, I don't know what the right word is, just the energy, I guess, overall energy, just that excitement again, I think is so important, because it is a massive stretch between Emerald and Sapphire. And like, I haven't had a goal in a very long time because of that, outside of our contests and stuff and such. So thank you, baby. So yeah, thank y'all for sharing that.
So good. Okay, well, we're right at 30 minutes. We're going to wrap it up. Loved this so much. We didn't even get to the third question, but it's in your chats, I'm sure. So if you have time, go through that sometime this week. It's really helpful. But I just wanted to end with this. Make a list today or this week about what you are doing right. Like, again, what she says, like when we focus on the positive, we see more options and we're more likely to get creative, or what you did right to hit that huge goal. Like make a list. And I like, she says, when you lose your focus by making comparisons, it is important to bring to mind your positive actions and attributes. This kind of acknowledgement can be a reality check or an energy boost to get you unstuck and refocused on the things that you can control. Stop making comparisons. When you find yourself comparing yourself to others, whether personally or professionally, make a conscious decision to redirect your focus to what you are doing right. Successful women use social comparison in ways that bolster happiness. 1, to notice those who are less fortunate and seek ways to give and help them. 2, to notice those who are more fortunate and feel grateful for the life and blessings currently present in their lives. And 3, to notice those who are further along on their success journey and find inspiration and lessons from their stories. So make a list of everything you're doing right, and then go get creative and have an awesome week. So thanks for hopping on, you all.